Shattered to unbreakable. Listen here, sweet sister. Whether you think you have one little crack or you are shattered into a billion pieces, this podcast is going to give you the resources, tools, and skills to help piece yourself back together to form a beautiful, unique, solid, and unbreakable masterpiece. You are listening to Shattered to Unbreakable, the Reclaim Podcast. Let's talk. Hello, welcome again to another episode of Shattered to Unbreakable. As always, I'm your host, Brandi Babin, and I want to talk to you today about winning at the game of life. And I'm going to be totally deceiving because I'm actually going to tell you that it's not about winning. Surprise! But of course, I am shooting you another quote from Alex Hormozi. Weird. It's almost like you should look him up. Him and his wife, Layla, they have awesome advice. Not at all the same life I have. They don't have kids and they have crazy schedules and they don't like taking days off, but they love it. Like they just love working. That's what they do for fun. So anyway, they have a lot of good insights though about winning at life, or shall I say, not focused on winning. So what he said in one of his recent podcasts that I thought was really special was that your life shouldn't be about winning. It should be about enjoying playing the game. And if you look at a lot of other people that have written self-development books and that, do inspirational speaking, they do talk about the fact that you can't just be so focused on the goal. You have to be focused on the process to get to the goal, which is not always going to seem as beautiful and sexy and exciting. And nobody is going to say anything about it until you reach the big sexy goal. But on your way there, it sometimes is not the best trip unless you learn to enjoy the process, unless you fall in love with the work you're doing to get there. You obviously have to think of the outcome that you want, and that's how you get your goals. And then once you have them, just put them away. It's funny because a lot of people do vision boards. I'm actually not a fan of vision boards that you see every day. There's research on both ends. Some research says vision boards help you stay motivated. Some research says vision boards actually teach your body and your brain to live like you've already accomplished it, which counterintuitively makes you work less hard because your body's like, oh yeah, we got that. It's already done. So then you don't work harder to achieve that goal. So the whole point behind Alex's comment and then the research that I favor, which is, get your goals. You can have a vision book maybe that you create your goals, you put them in this book, and then you put that book away for like the year. You don't look at it again. But you have your goals, and then you have your action steps. That's what you fall in love with. You don't fall in love with the ripped body for summertime. You fall in love with push-ups and curls and that pump you feel after you do those things. And you fall in love with the protein shakes, and you fall in love with your water bottle that makes you drink more water. And you fall in love with how you feel because you can sleep really good at night. And you fall in love with the fact that you're not drinking as much alcohol because your body needs you to stop doing that if you're going to have the maximum amount of gains. Like you fall in love with the process of getting this body. And I guarantee you, if you fall in love with those little things that you do daily, you'll get that body. You'll probably get it faster, actually, than what you planned, if you just do the things and you fall in love with the things. Now, you're not going to see the day-to-day progress because you're looking at yourself every day. So that's why if you fall in love with this end game, it's just not as effective as if you fall in love with the process. Now, I've been on this workout journey for about 6 months now. And when I look in the mirror, I don't see a ton of gains. Like I see, like my body's all right. I'm fine with it. It's looking good. Like, good job, Brandi. But when I look at like what my mind was picturing me looking like, it's not at all like that. But if I look back on my very first picture, I'm like, whoa, okay, I see the gains. And so I thought of this because I was on this road. It's beautiful, beautiful mountain view. You could see so many of the rolling hills up to the mountains and the different facets of the mountain and the blue sky with the snow-capped mountains. Just gorgeous. Oh my gosh, is it gorgeous. But then as I drove a little more west, the view started to go away. And actually, I couldn't see the big mountains past this hill. And I was like, the closer I get to the thing that was so beautiful, the less beautiful it looks. And it's kind of like that don't meet your idols thing. Like they're just people. They look really good on TV or in tabloids, but once you get to know them, they are just people, as imperfect as you and I. And so when I, put this into context of getting closer to the mountains, like the mountains are still just as beautiful. Like if I were to turn around and drive back east, I would see that beautiful landscape again. But as I get closer to this beautiful thing that I want to get closer to, I want to experience it, it looks completely different. And if you think about, on a hike, you look at this beautiful mountain, you're like, I want to be at the top of that. I want to be up there. And so you go and you get closer and you start the hike, and it does not look beautiful anymore. It's like trees and rocks and a dirt path, and you're just hiking up. And then, of course, you have the false summits where you think you made it. And then, surprise, there's another one. And then you hit that one. And then, surprise, there's like 7 surprises. And so you keep thinking you made it, but you didn't. And so as you're going up, it could be like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not what I thought it would be. This is not like, it's not beautiful anymore to look at. The scenery sucks. I'm tired. I have a headache. My legs are aching. I'm hungry. I need more water. It's heavy to carry. All of these things that you can use metaphorically as the imagery of life. But something really cool about halfway up the mountain, or if you reach a false summit and you're just taking a break because you don't think you can make it anymore, if you turn around and look at how far you've come, sometimes the view of the valley is just as beautiful as the view of that mountain. And so you look back and you see this valley and you're like, wow, I was down there. I was all the way down there. And now look how far I've come. Look how beautiful this view is. And all you have to do is turn around and look back. And it gives you that extra little oomph to say, all right, I can keep going. Because I know that if I get to the top and I look back again, it's going to be even more beautiful. And when I go back down to the valley and I look up, I'm going to be able to say, I was up there. I was on top of that beautiful thing right there. So I'm using the workout regimen as an example because it's such a great example. Because once you do reach that goal weight or you reach that goal chisel or whatever, you can look back on those before pictures and be like, whoa, I came so far. This is beautiful. And then every time you get to that false summit where you're like, I don't think I can make it, just look back, see how far you've come. It's like, holy cow. I mean, if I were to have a conversation with myself 10 years ago, like myself now could talk to myself back then and tell her everything we've accomplished, I guarantee you she'd just fall on the floor and cry. She would just fall on the floor and cry relief, tears of relief, like, I knew it. I knew I was designed for more. I knew this was not okay. I knew I wasn't supposed to be here. I knew I was supposed to be where you are. And I'm so happy that's where I'm going. And if I were to talk to her, that's what would happen. And I'm so proud of myself, and I'm proud of her, and I'm proud of how far we've come and how far we're going to go. Like, we're not even halfway there. And so it's exciting. It's exciting to look back. The scenery is just as beautiful. It just looks different. And the closer that you get to that peak, the less attractive it's going to be until you get there. So you just got to keep pushing, fall in love with the process, fall in love with the game, like have fun on the journey, stop worrying about how far you have to go and start noticing like all the different plants. The plants are changing as I go up elevation. There's different species that survive at different levels of elevation. There's different rocks I'm seeing. I'm going to pick that one up for my kids. That's so cute. And then the little animals, there's some chickmunks over here and a bird over there. And I see an owl and like an eagle's nest, and just start noticing the little things along the way and who you're becoming as you get there. And it just makes the journey so much more. And then you're not even worried about getting to the peak as much because you're just enjoying the walk. You're enjoying the climb. And so that's my tidbit there. And then as you're going up, of course, you're going to have these struggles. And I just want to point out that struggle makes a great story. Like if in the entertainment world, all of the movies, the biggest struggles have the biggest heroic stories. If you were to watch a movie where there wasn't really a struggle, it would be a really boring movie, you know? So the struggle is what makes it great. This overcoming, like Alex mentions, you know, think about the story that you'll tell. What actions can you do during the struggle to make that story better? And so when you think about like the story of your life, if I think about the story of my life and the struggles that I had, and I'm thinking about, like, say, think about your life as a movie. So if my life was a movie, I want people, when it gets to the part of my deepest struggle, and then people are going to say, what did she do next? Like, what did she do next? I want to know. And how boring of a story would it be if people were like, "Oh, she curled up in a ball on her bedroom floor and then she just cried." The end. People would be like, "Oh, that sucks. That's a terrible story." But the story is going to be, well, she started a business, she wrote a book, she became a national beauty queen, she got the best job ever, she got back on her 2 feet, she set boundaries, she enforced them. It was hard, there was struggle. Some people didn't like her for a while. She created enemies, she created friends, she traveled the world, she spoke, she inspired many. And because of the actions that she did, this beautiful uprising of alignment and knowing and inner power and women coming out and discovering themselves again who are completely lost. Like, that's my story. That's what I want my story to be. I want the movie to have this climactic, beautiful ending where everybody's like, thank God. Thank God this woman did these things. Where would we be today? I don't want my story to be like, she cried. That's it. That story would not be told. It wouldn't be worth telling. It wouldn't be worth listening to. And so I'm excited for you guys to look at where the struggles in your life can become the story later. Think about what you would like your movie to look like. You know, what do you want it to be in the end? And I'm not saying that you have to go through these crazy struggles to have a good movie. Like, you don't have to go find struggle. Nobody to go find it. Just let it happen naturally. You'll get it. Don't worry. If you're not going through a struggle right now, it's coming. You won't have to find it. But struggles could be as simple as, you know, dealing with somebody at work. And it might be kind of fun to just make that into them. I mean, they made a whole series on it, The Office, right? And they're in Parks and Rec. Like, that's still funny. So what's a barrier that you overcame at work? You could make it a comedy. Comedies still have struggle, and actually a lot of it. That's what makes it funny. But make a comedy out of your movie, or maybe it's a suspense thriller, like you're trying to solve mysteries in your life. Or you could have the drama or the hero movie, or let's just not do horror. Okay, let's leave that one. We'll leave that one to the people just doing horror stories. Let's not do that. What would your life be as a movie? I want to know. You should comment. Tell me what your life would be. Fall in love with the process. It's not always about winning. It is about winning, but it isn't about winning. You have to have an end goal. You have to have, you want to break a record? Heck yeah, let's break a record. And then once you have that goal, put it in your book, put it on the shelf, and then do the things that you reverse engineered back in order to break that record. You're going to have to run this many miles a day. And eventually, you're going to have to run that many miles in this amount of time. And in order to be healthy enough to do that, you're going to need to get enough sleep. You're going to need to eat right. You're going to need to do some weight training. You're going to need to keep your flexibility. You're going to need to keep your mind sharp. You're going to have to clear your schedule, prioritize this time. You know, you're going to have to pay attention to when the entry fee will be due. Put that in your calendar. And then once you have reverse engineered this plan to break this record, then you fall in love with the daily runs. You fall in love with drinking water. So fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the process. Write down your biggest goals. You probably already did this year, and then put them away. Take your vision boards down. You don't need to look at them every day. It's either going to depress you or make your body and brain think that it's already there and you don't have to work so hard. If you've done this every year, you have vision boards, and you still haven't accomplished those things, I just want you to try putting it away. Reverse engineer and then put it away. If you have vision boards and it works and you've accomplished all of your stuff every year, then your goals aren't big enough. Put some bigger goals on there. Come on. No, Go back and listen to my podcast on goals. You should really only accomplish about 25% of your goals that you set. If you're accomplishing every single goal you set, you're not going big enough. You have to go bigger. You're playing it safe. Let's not do that. Go bigger. Reverse engineer that bigger goal. And then do the things. Fall in love with the process. I promise it'll be worth it. It's going to be your best year ever. I love you guys. Stay sparkly. I'll see you next week. Thanks for hanging out with us today. I just wanted to remind you about the resources we have on the reclaimstrategy.com. That is Reclaim University with free downloads. It's the Reclaim Guidebook, access to Kintsugi classes and events. So go ahead and take a look. Also, please share this podcast with anybody that you think might need to hear these messages. And if you haven't already and you think we deserve it, give us a 5-star rating. That just helps our reach. So I love you guys. Stay sparkly, and we will see you next week.